February 19th, and special board meeting we have on June 21st, 2021. I'll take a
I'd like to make
motion.
a motion to the village board to approve the regular board meeting minutes of January 19th, 2021, and the special board meeting minutes of January 21st, 2021. All trustees have had these given them earlier and a chance to review.
Second motion?
Any comments or corrections? If not, we'll take a roll call for approval.
Trustee Garfield.
Aye.
Trustee Ola.
Aye.
Trustee Figueroa.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
President Birmingham.
Aye, thank you. Item number 5, first citizens' comments board. Citizens wishing to address the board, please come up at one time, 3 minutes, and you're with the group, it'll be 5 minutes. So come on up. Anybody wish to speak the first time around? Hello? All right, thank you.
My name is Kenneth Curtis, 5316.
I am going to ask everyone that's talking tonight, if you would take and talk into our mic. We have a little problem with that when it's on the TV now. So go ahead, thank you.
My name is Kenneth Curtis, senior of 5316 Olympia Lane. I'm founder and president of Voice and a candidate for Glendale trustee. I only have a question. Is there a welcoming package that's given to new residents? If yes, how do you get it? How do you get it? What's contained in it? Have current residents received welcoming packages? To attract new businesses to Southbridge Mall, what would the village do to welcome them to bring it? Can the answers to these questions be put in the village newsletter for all to see and know what to expect? As I'm not expecting answers right now. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Kenny.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board, please? We do have one more opportunity under the night. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is, do you want me to put it up here? My name is Tyler Helso. I live at 6427 Manchester Drive. Right in Manchester, so I'll see now. I moved to Greendale in 2018 with my wife, Laura, and she's from this community. She went to high school here. I'm a candidate for trustee. I probably talked to all of you, but I also want to introduce myself to anybody in the audience. Put a hat face to the name. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background why I chose to run. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for almost 5 years now. I have experience as a litigator. I also did negotiations and other forms of alternative dispute resolution. I did that in downtown Milwaukee. I also represented municipalities in Racine County for a number of years. I, as your attorney used to do, I guess he doesn't come to meetings all the time now. I would go to meetings for a number of my clients every week. So I sat here and made many of the same decisions, or assisted in many of the same decisions, drafted many of the same documents that you all have drafted. I've drafted ordinances, I've attended park board meetings, police and fire commission meetings, you name it, I've attended it. I have experience and I am young, and those two things typically don't go hand in hand, but it is something that I truly believe that I have, something I believe I bring to the table, and it's one of the primary reasons I decided to run. I think that that experience is going to be vital when it comes to Southbridge. I'm not trying to ignore you all, I'm sorry. And I think that Southbridge is one of the most major issues, not only facing the village now, but in the next 10 to 20 years. And so I want to put that experience to use to truly help the village, because I moved here with my wife to start our family, grow our family, and stay our family. We moved here for the schools, and my son's 2.5 months old. So I'm in for at least 18 years. So I'm not going anywhere. We started our family here, and that's why we're here. So I want to take that and couple it with my experience as an attorney and put it to use for the village, and that's why I'm running. And so I just want to come up here and let everybody in the room know. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I have a website, I have an email, or you can just come talk to me. And yeah, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming up.
Thank you.
Anyone else, please, Ellie?
Take this off. Elaine Hunter,
4815 Sutton Lane. As you all know, I'm running for Greendale Village trustee. I am here just to express some comments about discussion that took place at the last meeting regarding the stop signs. I spoke with a few residents and there's a little bit of concern, and I feel the same way. I believe you talked about putting stop signs on Grange by the Root River intersection. And I'm a little concerned, and I've heard from others, when you're headed west on Grange, it kind of goes up and then down a hill a little bit, and I'm concerned that people are not going to be expecting a stop there. So I'm wondering if, and I know it might cost money, that months in advance, another sign be put on Grange warning people about a sign that will be coming. I've seen something similar on Ryan Road in Racine County, where they put in some stop and go lights, but months prior, there was a sign warning people that stop and go lights were going to be installed. So I feel as though it's gonna sneak up on people, and I'm wondering if it might cause some problems. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that up.
Excellent.
Thank you. I'll look into that.
Comment.
Anyone else at this point wishing to address the village board? First one, if none, we will move right along. All right, moving on to standing committees. Finance Committee, Trustee Barber.
Thank you, President Birmingham. A couple of items for tonight. First item on the Finance Committee is the internal audit of bills presented for payment. We rotate this audit among our trustees. This particular month, Trustee Sibrowski has it. These are all checks, P-card payments or ACH, and checks are looked at randomly by one of the trustees and then asked for detail. Trustee Sibrowski, if you could update.
Got a bunch of different ones, random numbers that I picked, and everything looked good on it.
Okay. I thank you so much. Any questions for Trustee Sibrowski? Other trustees? Okay. Then the next item is the approval for accounts payable checks for payment. The Finance Committee recommends approval for accounts payable checks number 57176 to 57306 in the amount of $433,158.68. We also recommend the ACH payments be approved in the amount of $627,412.44, along with the P-card purchases in the amount of $126,644.61, for a grand total for approval this month of $1,187,215.73.
Second motion.
Is there any trustees that have any questions about the packets that they approved to look at before I ask for roll call? Any items that raise questions or concerns? See none, in which case I would ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
Trustee Sibrowski?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick?
Aye.
President Birmingham?
Aye.
Trustee Barber?
Aye. Final item is approval of accounts payable, status accounts December 31st, 2020. Do we have any updates? Since you're walking up, I assume yes.
So obviously I'm not done with year end quite yet, but going through it and trying to make sure that I've covered any accruals for any of the revenues that we may not have received yet. We are still, despite the COVID money coming out well under budgeted revenues, almost 200,000. So that is the biggest. I could list the things that we're so far under, but investment income is dire. Court penalties and costs bad. Building permits were nearly 70,000 under, so we just I think this is the casualty of the year. Expenses, we are still a little bit under budget expense-wise, but even one, if, some things are still gonna come in yet, that might be like that were on the credit card, that relate to last year, or maybe our utilities that we didn't get yet. The other thing that I haven't yet done is the grant money, so moving salaries that are in the health department away from grants, away to the grant fund and get it out of the general fund. So it's looking like we'll likely come in slightly under budget for the expenses, but we're so far under budget for revenues that, it's looking more balanced at this point.
Thank you for the update. Any questions from the trustees? Trustee Light.
That's not what we thought, correct?
We were hoping that the COVID money was gonna really help
Yeah.
mitigate those things, and there's too much of, too much that we couldn't overcome those.
Yeah.
I mean, these are pretty big items when you look at, how much they just.
So what is your estimate, Ashok?
For right now,
No,
Could you just address the, I had sent you an email on social media, there was a lot of talk about the water bills.
Yeah.
Can you address how there was not an increase to the water bill, and if anybody had an increase, it was obviously too much?
something going.
Let me-
Why not?
hold on.
The Facebook blog that was out there, I went through the water bills and checked names of the people and what their bills were. The first person, absolutely right. We used, the third person who started the blog, absolutely correct. She used, her whole household used much, much more water than they had in prior quarter. So that explains that bill. Many of the others didn't have high bills. A couple of them were people that I knew that don't necessarily have a fondness for the village, that said, yes, mine was double, even though it was not double. So I think one little blog post started this ugliness.
All right, I'm glad you said that we're straight, because I wanted to, and the bill didn't go up, the rate didn't.
Right, I mean, here you are, right, keeping it, staying the same, so, right, as far as wasn't an error in the calculation or anything like that, but that anybody who would see a big increase in their bill to reach out to us, the people at the water utility are fantastic, and they would be able to come out and check, people's meters, or just from even talking to us to get an understanding of, and looking deeper to see the meter readings kind of as they're coming in, to even say, look, like on these certain days, higher or lower.
I also think that a lot of people are working from home now too, and they're using the water a lot more than they used to.
People
And
are
they're
living
looking
at
at
home.
us to pay for it.
Yes,
That's what I think.
and I also think lastly, and hopefully this isn't gonna confuse the issue, but we have that summer sewer credit, so in the summertime, for those 2 summer bills, we have the average of the, 2 winter bills the prior year is what people pay the sewer on. So I know one person in particular had called him and was having trouble understanding it. I called her back, but she has not called me back yet. So when you think about last January, when people weren't weren't home because we were still all going to work and doing, that would be less consumption than this January. So what happened during the summer months then is it was based on what it was from the January one, which may have been askew because of the, now people were home with the COVID and they would likely be using more, but you get that during the summertime, charging people sewer is the presumption that charging the sewer from the winter is the presumption that in the summertime, people might be watering their lawn or washing a car, putting a pool or doing those things, that then we say we're gonna charge you based on the winter thing. So that's one thing that we've done for, as long as I know that the village has a sewer utility, that they have done that credit. So now, where they're saying they're comparing the bill, yep, but now it's your actual, what are you actually using? And yep, you've been home. And so then the sewer, going back to what's actual, makes a difference on the bill as well. So I know there was someone, that lady who was saying, I use less water, why should I be paying more now? Well, because it was based on the prior winter before we had COVID.
Trustee Sabrowski.
Just out of curiosity, how many phone calls did you get?
Oh, we always get a few because there are people who will have a toilet that started up leaking or have something. So I can't give you an exact number, but that was, they got mailed on Friday. And then typically that first day afterward, anyone who's surprised, what's going on, it's likely that they had something going on with some sort of leaking thing. So yeah, I would say not more than we normally have, but we always do have some calls that first day out.
Thank you very much.
So are people normally able to, they wanted to check the year from a year ago, can they do that easily by calling us?
To ask us
Their
what
water
their
bill.
usage
Yeah.
was the year ago. Oh, sure, we got all of that on. You'd be
So if somebody
surprised
asked
the
me
number
and
of
said,
people
mine,
say that, and they-
mine is higher.
Yeah.
I would say, have them call you and
Oh, absolutely.
actually get a
Please.
copy of it,
Right, yes,
show me and stuff.
absolutely. And we can give them a little kind of printout that shows all what the bills have been in the past. But I think the biggest thing, and I don't believe that the Facebook person was trying to start anything at all. I think they were like, hey, what's going on? Did something. But always, just if they would call us, we can look to their specific bill and see if it looks like there's something going on. And I would say most people who have a leak, or if that might be like a running toilet or a drippy faucet, have no concept of how much that can add up to. You just don't. And we have a little chart in our office, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, one that looks like a pinprick, can make your bill be astronomically higher by the number of gallons that you think is nothing that might be with that running toilet. So drippy faucet, those things, whether say, well, I knew it was, running, but it can't have been 600. Oh, it can have been. There's just a terrible, terrible bill. So yeah, if they would call us and we can tell them how, if you think that's something to put in village using account. I don't know if we had put that in, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago, kind of explaining how we do check for leaks, to give people a better sense, but absolutely for them to call us. The ladies do a fantastic job in helping people and to understand it as well.
Right, thank you.
Other questions at all? An excellent report. Todd, thank you for following up on that on your own. And I do think also it would be a good idea for the village to use this on. Thank you much. Basically, that concludes the finance committee report for tonight.
Thank you very much, trustee Barbian. Planning commission meeting tonight?
No meeting.
Very good. Library board, trustee Sell's not here. Public works?
No meeting.
Nothing, all right. And how about the health department tonight?
Nothing for what?
Nothing tonight, all right. And that's same with the safety committee?
Correct.
Park and rec? Trustee Sell's not here. And how about public celebration? Nothing, wow. One meeting tonight, all right. With that, I have no board and committee assignments tonight that I'll be doing. We'll move on to new business, which is BOT 2108. Discussing necessary action, considering approving update to the COVID-19 staff policy. Manager Michaels.
Thank you. This is an amendment to the existing policy that went into effect last year, which was also amended again in April last year. We took out a couple of things that don't one thing that doesn't apply anymore because the COVID Response Act expired, and then that was removed. But then we did add in the last paragraph on the third page a paragraph which essentially gives employees who, in the course of their duty, get exposed to COVID, and there's good suspicion that it did happen at work. If a vaccine has been offered to the employee and the employee refuses to have the vaccine administered without sufficient justification, and that's that employee in performing his or her duties is exposed to a positive case of COVID-19 and develops symptoms from the exposure, quarantine period served by the employee will not be covered as an administrative leave, and the employee will be required to use his or her own paid leave. This coverage only applies if workers' compensation benefits that are provided. Then verification of the contact with positive case will be required, unless verification of contact with the positive case is waived by the village manager in consultation with the health officer.
Any comments, discussion on? Yes, Justice Abbott.
What kind of verification are you talking about?
Verification of,
I mean, are they signing
Contact.
papers?
I would say records, that we know that they got in contact with someone.
Okay, but I mean, let's say they don't want the vaccine. Are we asking them to sign a paper saying, hey, I don't want it?
We can't tell them to take the vaccine or not.
No, I mean, it's their choice. No, but if they choose not to do it, okay, and they catch it, is there, I mean, how do we know that, what's the proof that they said, no, I don't want the vaccine? Do we need to do that for them?
To have proof that they said they want the vaccine.
Yeah,
They all were offered, the employees, some of the employees have already been offered, some have taken it, some have not. If one of those employees that did not, I mean, they were offered it and refused already.
okay, I
We don't
guess
need
what
it
I'm
in writing.
asking for is a backup and
No.
security in the fact, and that's what I'm asking.
We have it in writing that it was offered, we have it in writing that who took it.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions on this? Yes.
I guess whose suggestion is this, you thought about this, or was the health department recommending this, or I guess where is this coming from?
There was a request from, one of the departments that we consider it because it was in the COVID Act
Okay,
and now that's expired. I think from the village's standpoint, it's only fair to say, hey, we offer the vaccine unless you've got some kind of extenuating circumstance why you can't take the vaccine or won't take the vaccine, that we wouldn't cover it as administratively. You still have your sick leave, you could still get unpaid time off.
That's quite.
Just a thought, I think this is a good thing to do, obviously, but let's say an employee decided for whatever reason they may not take the vaccine now. A month from now, if they change their mind, we still provide it for them?
If they got COVID afterwards, after they got the vaccine.
I mean, I like this part, we're not saying they're not gonna be comfortable. What we're saying is we don't take it and you get it, it's your pay, your dollar. So, I mean, I like that we're really putting our foot forward on that. Did you have a
Question, no, I do agree with this, but is this police, fire, everybody?
Everybody.
All of those?
on place?
Just a question on, if they would catch it and they would have to use either their sick time or unpaid, are you recommending that they have to use their sick leave first before the unpaid? You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys have accumulated sick time and vacation and everything. Do they have the opportunity to choose, okay, say they have a vacation planned in October, they get it now or whatever?
Most of them would automatically have to use sick time because they'd be running their FMLA also.
You know where I'm going at with this.
Do we need a motion for this?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the amended COVID-19 staff policy dated February 2nd, 2021, as been discussed tonight in the meeting.
Second motion?
Any further discussion? If none, we'll take a roll call for approval.
Trustee Sabarowski,
no,
trustee McCall.
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick,
Aye.
President Birmingham,
Aye.
trustee Berbian,
Aye.
trustee Ola.
Aye.
Very good. All right, with that, we'll move on to item number BOT 2109. Discussing necessary action for agreement for the City of West Dallas Health Department for environmental public health services from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. Manager Biden.
Thank you. Sue Shepherd would be here, but she had a problem that she had to take care of, so she couldn't make the meeting tonight. This just extends the contract another year that we have with West Dallas. I've heard nothing from any of the board members telling me to review other services, we don't like it, anything like that, so we're recommending strongly that we move forward. It's a 2% increase over the increase in costs, so we're recommending that the village board approve the 2021 West Dallas Health Department proposed agreement to provide environmental public health services.
Now, just so you know, this is a one-year contract, and that's what we're speaking of. I'll take a motion for this. Yes.
Nothing's changed from last time we looked at this. We know this is the best deal we're gonna get from anything else, and that would hold true for this year also.
Yes.
And it's still, I would agree, with Donna's gonna probably talk about, but there are some questions, but by far, we're not gonna touch it, so.
I guess I'm just, I thought we talked about possibly, talking to health corners, did we ever, or did they go with West Dallas?
We talked about, I don't really want to say it, but we talked to Hills Kearns about something else related to health.
They are gonna do this.
It wasn't
It's still our
this.
best option, too, even though it's expensive. And I just wish we, go on record again, I wish we did have this, at our health department in the future. I would love for us to be able to have one, our staff, instead of having it outsourced.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to the board to approve the environmental public health service contract with the West Dallas Health Department from the period of 1/1/21 to 12/31/2021, as presented at the board meeting and discussed tonight.
Second motion.
Further discussion on this item? There's none, we'll take a roll call for approval.
Jim?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Jason.
Todd, what do we roughly spend a year with West Dallas on this?
15. Yeah, 15,000.
$16,000 roughly.
Well, yeah, 15,852. That's a lot.
You can't hire somebody to do this.
I mean, but it was our health department, yeah, like we used to.
Internally, yeah.
There's so much training involved.
He does a good job.
He does a great
He
job.
does.
And he does, and then listen, we were, Jason, years ago, we did it ourselves, and we were so, listen, a lot of us stores down there, cheap, for getting the permit. That when they took over, they had to literally double the cost, just to pay for it.
The issue with us before is we were doing it correctly for about 30, probably 40 years, where Jim was supposed to have a local permit and a state permit, same state permit that he now has. That was the difference. It was us in Milwaukee that were still doing that. The state came down on us. That's why we had to make the
The
change.
department, they did, right?
Yeah, it's a nice deal for it.
Right, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, please.
For those that don't remember or don't know who I am, I'm Peter Feldhuis, and I am the inspector.
would you pull your mask down while you're talking?
Sure. So I can come up with.
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, come on up here.
So, if there's any questions or specifics, and I know Sue couldn't be here, she had an emergency, but, I might be able to answer some of those questions that you do have regarding health services or your own internal department running the program.
I think, when I overlooked it this year, we're good on, but you're doing a good job, as far as I'm concerned, but, anybody else have any questions?
Because the price is down, would be great. You do a good job.
One of the concerns and one of the main reasons that we are doing that is that our health department is standardized or has the state required individuals that allow us to be certified to be able to do this. So when you talk about putting this into your own health department, kind of also consider that there is a workload that is being taken care of for you by going with us that you would have to assume in your own health department. So, you talk about the roughly $16,000. You talk about salary, you talk about standardization, you talk about training. You probably would not be able to hire an individual to be able to do that on the salary that it would actually cost to do that. And we can, talk about that offline and go into a little bit more detail for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Is this a budgeted item?
Yes. It is, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, I think we have a first and second.
We do.
Okay. We'll take a roll call, please.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick?
Aye.
President Bermingham?
Wait, aye.
Trustee
All three
Bervian?
for a minute.
Affirmative.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. And with that, we'll go to officers' reports, village manager.
Just one quick kind of reminder. This is the time of the year when a number of residents contact the Department of Public Works or myself or board members. People are just getting sick of the snow. We know that. We don't have anywhere to put it. People are sick of shoveling public sidewalks. I just ask people that, we're looking at another big snowstorm possibly on Thursday. We're gonna do our best and we just hope everybody does their best for their home.
Thank you. Okay, all right, village president, I have nothing for tonight, so. With that, we'll go to the last citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to address the board here in the last comment area, come on up and give us your name and address for the record. Seeing none, we will move on, and with this, we'll go to item number 11. We are going to close session. The board will convene in the closed session, proceeding to section 1985 IC to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data for the public employees over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. Specifically tonight, we'll discuss the village manager's goals and objectives for the first quarter of 2021. Make a motion for that, please.
Motion to move in closed session is outlined by President Bermingham.
Second motion?
We'll take a roll call for approval of that.
Trustee Chadwick?
Aye.
President Bermingham?
Aye.
Trustee Bervian?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
We'll take 5 minutes and then we'll